Public education today is a joke. It is arguably the worst institution of America. Sure, we have all kinds of terrible things going on, but it all stems from one place. It stems from the way that people are being brought up in today's world. And who is bringing up the kids? It's not the parents. It's not the families like it should be, like it used to be. It's the public schools. It's the pre-daycare, or that's what it's used as at this point for most people. It's a waste of time for our youth. And it's worse than a waste of time. Because in that waste of time, they throw in a little bit of propaganda each day. Just a little bit to add in, add in, add in, until your brain is destroyed. It starts real young. Preschool, kindergarten. They tell young little boys to start crossing their legs like they're little girls. This isn't natural. This isn't the way it should be. This isn't normal. We shouldn't be encouraging our young boys to start acting like little girls. Young boys are adventurous. They don't need to sit down and listen to instructions and color with their little crayons. They need to go out and they need to kick a ball around or play on a bike or go wrestle with each other. They need to be doing stuff. Like, they need to be exploring. They have to be exploring their strength as young men. They have to be just gathering information about the world and about masculinity. They don't even have a strong masculine example anymore that they can learn from because all their teachers are either feminine men or they're women. And most young boys today, their dads are out of the house or they have divorced parents and the mom has like 80% custody, which isn't like, this isn't an attack on moms. It needs to be like, we need to have both in the household. It's just dads are the ones that oftentimes get left out, and it's destroying young boys because they don't have a masculine role model. So they're just following in the footsteps of their feminine mother, hopefully feminine. She's probably masculine too because she was deceived her whole life as well. But now they just have no good role models and they don't know how to handle a relationship, of course, because their mom and dad weren't together their whole childhood. So that's great, but that's besides the point. The problem is these young boys have no masculine role model to look up to, and then they're taught to be feminine by schools. And then they start getting a little older, they get second grade. Now they're starting to learn about climate change. If they're lucky, this is when the political propaganda starts being pushed hardcore. If you're there in California, for example, or maybe a little bit in Colorado as well, you'll start to see pushes of gender ideology pushed from kindergarten, even preschool. It's terrible. New York, all these really liberal states, it's very awful. But hey, if they're in a better state, they get till second grade, third grade, they start to learn about global warming. They start to learn about how they're going to leave the faucet on and they're killing the earth, they're killing the animals. Every time they eat out of plastic. Plastic is bad, by the way. I'm not supporting plastic, but not because of global warming. It's a trick. But again, off topic here. To get back on, they are being taught that they are destroying the world and they're made to feel guilt about it because of what they drove to school that day so the sun got hot or something. Like, what a joke, what a insidious joke to tell little kids that they are destroying their climate. It's just not true. And now they've grown up with that as already a firm belief of theirs. And then they start getting taught about globe earth, which of course that's a no, I'm kidding kind of. Just a little bit jokes here, just a little bit. But hey, they believe that they are destroying the earth, and then they start to hear about Martin Luther King and other guys like that who they're taught are heroes, they're taught are saints. Good luck criticizing MLK in public. You will get more criticism. You will be more shunned from society for going after MLK than Jesus Christ himself. Do you know how? Just think about how incredibly messed up it is that we live in a time where you are better off criticizing God than MLK, who is a communist, by the way. I might make a video about that. I might not, we'll see. But he was a commie. He was a hardcore commie. But nobody will tell you that because from a young age, we're saying like third, fourth grade, they start to learn about racism and how MLK should be their idol. And then they start learning about evolution about that time as well through their science programs. And now they're starting to go against the Bible because science becomes their Bible. Science becomes the truth. And now what public schools, we're not even to middle school yet. And they've started to take the Bible away from kids and push them towards a role of atheism. They started to teach them about how we evolved from rocks. It's like, wow. That's a joke. That is untrue. It makes no sense. And most people will believe it forever because it was ingrained into their brains by the people they trusted most, their teachers, when they were young. Because these kids, they look at these teachers as like the parent models because their parents are gone at work all the time. So that this is the only role model they have. So they believe everything that these teachers spew. All the messed up, degenerate stuff. I mean, just go look on, watch a few TikTok videos. Go to Libs of TikTok. Don't actually go on TikTok because your brain will die. Go to Libs of TikTok and you will see how disgusting these teachers are. And these teachers are the new parents of Generation Z. And we wonder why 20% of them have fallen into the LGBT. We wonder why like 40 to 50% at least are mentally ill. It's so incredibly depressing, but it's not that hard to see why, and nobody will admit it to you because they're all too scared because they were raised from the same system. They admit that it's destroying young kids, they have to admit it's destroying themselves. And nobody wants to admit that they have been destroyed themselves. It brings their ego down because I believe they're so incredibly perfect. It's not true. It's not true at all. Now we're starting to get to middle school, right? It's still going to be the pumping more propaganda. They're going to start introducing some communist ideas about how we need to all like an equality thing, the great lie of equality, what I call it. That we can all be the same. We can all be on the same playing field. It's not true. And then they'll start teaching women that they need to go out and they need to go to college and they need to get a job and start tricking these young girls into be masculine so that they have relationships die their entire lives. And that's sad. That's sad. They're not only going after the masculinity of young boys, but they're going after girls as well. And if you think that, oh no, I get it's just a mistake, they're not trying to take out masculinity. Why are UK schools now starting to teach? They're starting to teach anti-tape. Basically, they have like an anti-tape curriculum, anti-top G curriculum. The man, the myth, the legend himself. They are teaching against what he teaches because they know he is making young boys masculine again. They know that he is going to say, or if his messages get through, society could be saved. But they hate that. They hate the idea of boys becoming masculine because a masculine boy is hard to control. So they're going against him. And then they're going to keep making boys feminine all the way through high school. They're going to start introducing, as my school has, gay clubs for kids so they can have teachers groom them, which is incredibly disgusting. So gross. They're taking mentally ill kids and then they're affirming their mental delusion. It's not what we do. Would you tell a schizophrenic that, oh yeah, the voices you hear, that's all real people, you should listen to them? No, because that's evil. So now we have young boys saying that they want to snip it off, and we tell them, "Oh yes, you go do you. You're a queen." It's like no. Teach him to be a king. Teach him to rise up, embrace his masculinity, and be strong, and resist the temptation and resist the mental illness that he has. And we need to help him instead of destroying his mind. But the schools won't do that. They continue to push him down. Public schools they they kill the motivation of kids too. They give them work and they convince them that work is supposed to be boring. They're like, "Oh yeah, you need this playtime because work sucks." And they teach kids to be lazy because they're so bored at school because they intentionally make work boring. That way you don't want to do stuff that'll actually improve your life because when work is boring, it's hard to invest in yourself. Of course, because everything excuse me, worth doing, it takes work. It takes hard, strong, disciplined work. Schools, they want you to just do little bits of work and then feel exhausted and go home and play video games, and that's accepted in the public school community. It's incredibly sad. They waste 8 hours a day of young boys with dreams and aspirations, and they try to feed them into the college system where they will end up mediocre. So I imagine most of my audience for this are probably high school, middle school students, because I mean, I'd imagine those are the people that are most interested in why their school sucks, because it does. So here's my advice to y'all. This is what I'm doing as a high school student right now. I'm trying to, I do my work that I want to get done for like this podcast, for example. I write my scripts in school and class. I make sure to keep my grades B's and A's, keep the parents happy. It's really not that hard to do to keep decent grades. Just put in minimal effort in school and then put your focus on what you actually care about. Listen to podcasts while you do your work about building business, for example. Learn how to drop ship. Learn how to build a podcast, a platform for yourself. And start building up and start leveling yourself up while you're stuck at school. Start ditching the bad habits. Avoid people that are going to start bringing you down. Avoid the partiers, the vapors, because we know that the majority of kids are that. So you want to avoid those groups and just start building yourself up, building self improvement. Find fellow members of your school, fellow students that are on self improvement, and introduce people to it. And you can build a little coalition. You can use the school environment to your advantage. So start building a bond with your fellow men, fellow boys of your school, and build something great, right? Start focusing on what you want to do as a career. If you're going to need college, then you need to put in a crap ton of effort in school. Keep your grades above a 3.0. Do that, of course. And then, but if you don't need college, get your diploma. Keep B's and A's. If you have a C, whatever. But focus on what you need to do to get to that career. Figure out an endpoint and put all your effort towards that endpoint. That should be your mission. That should be your dream. But, I think that pretty much wraps it up. School sucks. Of course it does. It's gonna kill your dreams, but hey, you can ignore it. You can not let it kill your dreams. You can reject the system. Because just sitting and whining about how school sucks and not doing anything to improve yourself so you're not stuck in the workforce, which is gonna be just as bad, if not worse, because it keeps you there forever. Then you need to start improving yourself today, start figuring out what you want to do with your life. But that'll be it for Strange Investigations today. Of course, as always, I have been your host, the one and only Ron Swanson, signing off. So long, and adios. God bless y'all.